Hello, Iris. So good to be here with you.
Nice to be here with you. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, thank you so much for being here. I'm really excited to share everything I love about your work with my audience, and they are excited too. I'm excited to share some of your super fun Evolving Genius Awards, which we can get into later, with my people and explore your new unique program for appreciation events. So I would love to know more about what inspired you or what drove you to, pursue these honoring awards, and what is your inspiration?
My inspiration is wonderful people. They're everywhere. When you look for the good in other people, you find it. It's absolutely true.
Yes.
So how it all sort of started for me was I read a couple books I loved. One was Memory Systems, all about how to use, visualization for memory. And the other one was Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz, which was all about creative visualization back in the 70s. So in the early 70s, I decided to teach a class on those two subjects in community education. My first class, and I've taught a million community education classes. I love it. I've been an educator for a long time. I've created and taught a lot of community ed classes, and this was my first. And then, so as an instructor, I could take any class for free. So I thought, well, cool. So there was a class in palmistry, which I took. I thought that sounds interesting. And I studied palmistry. I took her advanced class, and palmistry really chose me as a vocation. I discovered that it was a way for me to really honor people, who they are, how they're progressing, to encourage them and support them and to honor them. And then it just kind of took off from there. I've done a lot of party entertainment, as you probably know, over the years. I mean, I used to live in Sun Valley, Idaho, and I used to live in Denver. Now I'm in Oregon, but I did a lot of rich and famous people in Sun Valley. Demi Moore, Bruce Willis, and the Hemingways, and the Dreyfuses, and the Wrigleys, and just an abundance of interesting people.
Yeah.
Would hire me for party and event entertainment because I would give these beautiful honoring readings very quickly and move them on. And I just really loved honoring people. And I found out that it made everybody feel good. It was the best win-win thing I'd ever discovered.
Yeah, absolutely. It's beautiful.
So that has certainly inspired me. And that's really where it began. And then I think I first began writing the awards when I lived in Sun Valley about 25 years ago. One of the women in my women's circle came in tears. And we're all like, what is wrong? And she said, well, I'm an elementary school teacher. And one little kid had to go live with grandma. Somebody else's parents were out to lunch on drugs and alcohol. Some kid came with no socks and holes in his shoes and frozen feet. And I mean, she was just beside herself with the terrible situation some of these precious little children were dealing with. Well, so we all hugged her up and we all sent our blessings to all the children. The next morning, I felt inspired and I wrote this Gifted and Talented Child Award. Haven't changed a word of it in over whatever it's been, 30 years. And being the teacher, she had their perfect names and addresses. So I got out the big colorful award paper and I put their names on it. And I sent it out in the big envelopes to like a dozen children in I believe it was the 3rd and 4th grade. And she called me a couple days later, just ecstatic, and said, oh my gosh, I have to tell you what happened. It gave them something positive to focus on. It built their self-esteem. And of course, the mystery of it coming anonymously, kids love a good surprise in the mail, and not having any idea who sent it was huge.
Absolutely. So divine. I find this path of palmistry taking you to here so intriguing. And, not only are you a visionary, a poet, a beautiful mother, grandmother, comedian, but you're a psychic. And, I never looked at this palmistry as a way of honoring people or how that could lead to honoring people, but it's really, palmistry and psychic, you're looking into someone's soul. They're allowing you to see them. And it's so beautiful that you went into the heart and just emanated this love of honoring. And that's truly, I feel like, at the essence of having that gift of being able to see, is you're truly seeing into people with this gift of honoring. And I feel like this gift and these awards really bring that out in a really fun, playful way, and it reaches all types of audiences. So I'm so grateful to share this with my audience so they can just really dive into this. I'm also really curious. I don't know if we've dove into this, but what is your path of self-esteem? Because I feel like, it would take, something, it would trigger something in us to want to go and honor or share this so much ubiquitous, unconditional love. So was there like a triggering point, or like, have you always had really good self-esteem, or like, was there something that triggered this and you started finding that beauty within? Or can you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, I think honestly, it started when I was a young mother, when my first daughter was born, and my heart just opened up hugely. And I had an aunt who lived next door, and I really honored her. She was a beautiful example. She was an amazing woman. My mother didn't live anywhere close to me, and we weren't as close. So I wrote her this beautiful anonymous note and put it in her car. And that was the first time I had discovered the whole thing with being anonymous. And what I realized, Caitlin, is that being anonymous allowed me to be a full-hearted, fully expressive. It's like I found the voice of the grateful, anonymous appreciator from my heart and soul. And she had found expression. And then with the sassy stuff, I found the courageous, anonymous truth teller, which was sort of the other side of that. And so I have to say, sort of the honoring led me to the anonymous, giving unconditionally without an agenda. It's all about the message. It wasn't about me. And I hope I answered your question.
Absolutely. And just an inspiration to see where people share this and love to share it anonymously, because there's something really genuine about it, and really authentic and very selfless. And I really value that quality. So thank you. What do you love most about your Evolving Genius Award ceremony? If we can dive into that a little bit.
Yes. So what I really love about it is I want to bring back honoring as a way of life. And so,
Yes.
number one, it can be used for really any occasion. And it's all clean, uplifting, wonderful stuff. And so, say, for example, whether it's for a group of volunteers or a group of employees, what I love about it is that you get to pick the award as your own best friend that you get honored for. It's not about the company, if you've got their approval or not. It's not about your employees. It's about everyone supporting you and applauding you as you walk that red carpet and you get, the Elegant Enchantress Award, and that you're honored with that award you've chosen for yourself, or you are honored for your lovable laughter, or you are honored, for your musical mastery. So I really, really love that. And I love that I have so many. Can I read to you my titles?
Absolutely. Would you mind sharing?
Thank you. I'd love to.
Thank
So
you.
my positive Evolving Genius Awards, that I love honoring people. And again, they can choose them for themselves, or they can also choose them for other people. I have a Certificate of Sainthood, Childlike Wonder, Elegant Enchantress, Fantastic Father Forever, Free Spirit, Gifted and Talented Child, Gifted and Talented Youth, Glorious Gratitude, Grandmother of Honor, Honorary Caregiver of Light, which, by the way, the most people that call me crying because they're so grateful and deeply touched are because they got a Caregiver of Light award, because caregiving is so difficult. So that one is, and in fact, some lady just bought 30 of them from California. And when I went to bed, I just could imagine how all of these wonderful people would feel receiving this fabulous award. And it just made me so happy.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
I also have Humanitarian Healing, Humanitarian Hero, Illustrious Instigator, Lifelong Learning, Lovable Laughter, loving kindness, mother of honor, musical mastery, profound pedagogue, which is funny and very honoring, spirit of compassion, valuable volunteer, very popular, and wisdom keeper.
Beautiful, beautiful. These titles, they all feel like they come directly from your heart and this just love of yourself and for others and seeing that beauty in all. Like it's truly inspiring. I would love to share like what I love about your honoring ceremony and these awards, if that's okay.
Of course.
Yes. First thing, I love, 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 love the joy and simplicity around them. You know, it's not too hard to sit down and honor someone, but these awards are straight to the heart and they're so simple yet so profound that it's like you're speaking to someone's soul with these awards. So I love the joy and love and simplicity that emanates from these awards and the ceremony. I love how empowering and uplifting they are, especially in a world today where, you know, sometimes people are afraid to take compliments or own how amazing they are. And it's like, I feel like this really allows people to embrace their amazingness, and it's super empowering. Like, no, you know, like don't dim your light. This really emphasizes embrace your light, and I'm all about that. I'm like, let's all explode into light because we're all beautiful. So these awards and the ceremony just really bring out the light within all, and you're looking into the heart and soul of people. I also feel like they're super thoughtful. Like it just tells me what's going on in your mind and in your heart. So that to me is like, you have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful mind. If this is what you're creating, this is what you're sharing with people. And what a beautiful mind. It's like, I want to be inside your head and your heart. Like we can all learn a thing or two from this. And I feel like these awards and the ceremony unify, if anything, you know, in a time when people are talking about divisiveness or, you know, separation. It's like, no, let's quiet that and bring in the unity. And I feel like that's what this is all about, is that unity. Like we're all beautiful and perfect. And when we honor, they hone into that. So I love that. And I love that you bring so much joy and fun with a capital J and F to life and to everything that you do. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. You know, and I realize after doing this for so many years that it brings everyone, in order to thrive, needs appreciation, encouragement, and support. And that's what these do. And not only that, which you brought up beautifully, is it gives people permission. It gives them permission to shine. It gives them permission to honor themselves. It gives them permission to honor other people. And then again, the anonymous voice allows people to express the fullness and the depth of their heart. And it gives without an agenda. And it's the very best way to demonstrate unconditional love. You know, you and I both know it's one thing to think about what unconditional love is and to get it intellectually. To demonstrate it,
yes,
it's so important. You know, I did a big party in Boulder, Colorado years ago for a young girl's birthday. I did readings for them all. And I mentioned to one girl, you know, about anonymous giving. Well, anyway, I got their addresses from the mom, and I sent a few of these honoring awards to some of these girls. The mother called me and said, "You're not going to believe what happened." She said, they're not talking about who's got the most expensive jeans. They're talking about who has loving kindness and who out of the universal voice showed up with lovable laughter, and who is a lifelong learner, and who, you know, is an elegant enchantress or a free spirit. And she's like, "I'm sending you a tip." I'm like, "Okay, good." Because all of the awards that I sell in my Etsy shop, which is Evolving Genius Awards, is the name of my Etsy shop where you can find everything I've done. You know, it's just so exciting to see how people can really resonate with the truth when it hits. You know, it's like when the caregivers call me in tears, because it strikes a chord so deeply. More people call me crying when they get that honorary caregiver award. And I mean, I'll cry with them. We have these conversations. It's really hard and I'm not perfect, but I do my best. And I'm like, oh, I so get where you're coming from, darling. And we have these deep, beautiful conversations that just thrill me. And the other award that has the distinction of being translated into the most languages and shared around the world is my Spirit of Compassion Award. And being a person who loves compassion,
Yes,
that's a biggie for me. So do you have a favorite that you want me to pull out of my magic bag of tricks and share?
absolutely. I have a couple favorites. You can read one or both, but I love the Certificate of Sainthood and Humanitarian Healing Award. I purchased some of yours off Etsy in the past years and on Simbi, and I've sent some of those out because I'm surrounded by a lot of I feel like saints and humanitarians. So I would love if you could share some of those.
Good. And you know what's funny? The thing about the Certificate of Sainthood Award, it's the one that nobody wants to vote or honor themselves with. It's just so big. And it's like, you know what, really? And yet, when somebody gets it anonymously, it makes them cry because it's really true. And I thought of one of my very best friends and some beautiful people I love when I wrote this. Yeah. So, you know, really, it's my way of honoring people. Certificate of Sainthood. I'll show it to you. It's quite pretty. They're all lovely. And I found that the 5x7s are perfect because then people will actually frame them and they don't have names on them, so people can pass them on. Like the caregiver gets an award and goes, oh my gosh, and hopefully they claim it and take it in. And then, they can't wait to pass it on to another caregiver. Same thing with all of these. So, Certificate of Sainthood. This is for you. Because I see you, girlfriend. I know who you are. We resonate with what we resonate with, right?
Yeah.
It's an attunement process. Okay. Certificate of Sainthood. The embodiment of sainthood is exactly who you are. You exude glowing love like a vibrant, shining star. Your saintly qualities of humility, compassion, and willingness are demonstrated in serving the needs of so many of us. You hold peace, kindness, and perfection within your every honorable intention. May you receive divine rewards every single day. For this we humbly pray. Your caring service is so honest and true. We bow our heads in gratitude to you.
Oh, I'm really words. It's so beautiful. I actually anonymously sent that to my sister years ago, I think 2-3 years ago. And she was having a house party or having people over, and I went over to her house. And I remember she was like, did you send this to me? It's like she knows. It's like she knows. She's so intuitive. And I was like, yeah, because that's just how I see my sister. Like that's her in a nutshell. And she's like, oh, thanks, sis. She's like, I'm not always the same. So there's that humility aspect of it. It was really, she made it really humorous, but it's like she keeps it in her bedroom, like you can see it right by her TV. And it just, you know, we had a recent talk and how she's like, I need to calm that voice in my head that breaks me down. And I just love that she has that in her room to remind her, like, yes, you know, and that's why these awards are so powerful, because sometimes we forget these beautiful truths. You know, that is a truth. So thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, and it is really a treat when people have them and they get it and they pass it on. It's a beautiful thing. Humanitarian Healing Award. It's a lot of beautiful doctors, surgeons. When people tell me how much they love this amazing healthcare provider or healthcare practitioner, I love sending these out. Humanitarian Healing Award. This award is granted in honor of your dedicated service to the healing arts. You are hereby honored for your knowledge, wisdom, and compassion, so freely shared with those in need. We honor you for serving humanity with kindness, caring, love, and exemplary expertise. We acknowledge you for serving with your heart as well as your hands in the dedicated service of humanity. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Simple.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I can see how these bring people to, I mean, obviously it brought me to tears, because it's honoring that truth and that beauty within. So thank you so much for sharing that unconditional love anonymously and allowing other people to demonstrate it as well. It's just such a beautiful gift.
It brings me joy.
Joy. I would love to know, like, what do you think people finding your Appreciate events program so important, like interesting or relevant these days? Why do you think they would find it important or interesting?
Well, number one, we're just coming out of COVID.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people, like I was contacted by a school district and they said, you know, we would like you to come and do this. We want a team building thing. We want something that can bring our people back together and help reconnect them after COVID. So, and of course, as you know, people are very divided. People are feeling very separate. So it really is important to be able to bring these people together in a group, and have them choose the award that honors themselves as their own best friend. It starts from the inside out, right?
Yeah.
And I love that about it. And then toward the end, I have a poem that I read, which tells about how I feel about honoring, called Honoring Builds a Circle of Nobility. And then I also have a couple of the sassy awards, the real clean comedy stuff that I kind of throw in there at the end just to add a little bit of fun to it. And so, I mean, it's perfect for, when I initially created it, Caitlin, it was a volunteer appreciation event. I am a recovering board member. My husband and I agreed once I retired, no more board of director positions. Even though I love adult literacy and I've done a lot of different things. So I thought, okay, what's the perfect semi-retirement volunteer position that I want to create for myself? And I thought, volunteers are my people. I've done volunteer work my entire life. They're my tribe. And I want to honor my tribe. And these awards are a really good way to do it. And then, of course, you know, companies want to, you know, help their people bond and come together. Donors, to honor the donors for these nonprofits, as we know that without volunteers and donors, so many things wouldn't be possible. So that's primarily my target market. And, you know, family reunions, retirement parties, any occasion. Sometimes I show up just to give a certificate of sainthood to someone for their birthday, or I can do some funny comedy things. I can do all kinds of different things with these awards. They keep my sunny side up.
Beautiful. It sounds like your awards and the ceremony reach a diverse population, like it reaches everyone, kind of very universal, and can touch the hearts of many. Or is there like a specific group that you really want it to reach, or is it more intentionalized to be diverse and reach all groups?
Well, like I said, I kind of started out, volunteers and donors are my big
Yeah.
one, but pretty much anybody. And I just have to tell you the beautiful thing that happened at the last event that I did. I get my applause, the lights go down, and before I can get off the stage, this beautiful little girl about 8 years old walks up to me and says, "Excuse me, may I please speak with you?" I'm like, "Sure." And she says to me, "I want you to know that you have really inspired me." She said, "Last week was really hard for me. We had a bunch of bullying, mean kids, and it was so bad, it even made my teacher cry." And I was like, "Oh." And she said, "You have inspired me." She said, "I am going to create wonderful awards and give to all the really good, special, wonderful kids. And you've really inspired me." And I'm like, fabulous. I mean, it just was so beautiful. And then her mother ends up speaking with me and she says, "I want you to know what I loved about what you did." She said, "I love the way you claim it and how authentic you are." And I know that my poem honoring, you know, builds a circle of nobility. It really does come from me. It comes from the experience of honoring anonymously But she said, I love the way you claim it. And then she told me too about her daughter having a difficult week at school and how I had inspired her beautiful daughters. And I did say to her, you know, one of the other things that I haven't shared, and I usually only do when I do the major comedy stuff, the most powerful thing I've ever written, which has been shared all around the world in more different languages, and I get emails, people honoring me for it in other languages that I have to have translated, because it is that powerful. And another time, I'd like to talk with you about this and share with your audience, but it's my poem called Shame on You, about verbal abuse and bullying. And I mentioned that to these parents, and she said, would you please send that to me, and I will make sure her teacher reads it to the class.
Amen.
I was like, you go, mama.
Sounds like the whole world needs to hear that, the whole world. So I would love to explore that more with you.
Thank you. I have several different ones. They're called honesty letters. I have one called Forbidden Love, which talks about the anguish that, gay or trans, people go through with the non-acceptance in society. So I have found the courageous voice of the anonymous truth teller to be very, very effective and very important, especially with the verbal abuse. And there's a ton of different domestic violence shelters now that are using it as a process for women to find their voice. So these beaten down women find the ability to say, shame, shame, shame on you. Do you even know the damage that you do? And it just goes through this beautiful rant.
Beautiful. I just got goosebumps when you said that. It's so empowering.
Transformative.
Super empowering. Thank you for that. I know we will explore that a little bit more next time, but would you be open to sharing Honoring Builds a Circle of Nobility, the poem that you mentioned a couple times?
Yes.
I would love my audience to hear it and, have that same inspiration that all of your audience have.
Thank you. In fact, this goes inside of every honoring award that I send. Every honoring award I send basically has an awards list like this, so that people can see what all the awards are. And then on the back is this poem. And it's called Honoring Builds a Circle of Nobility. Honoring is where silence joins what is true. Honoring is a divine reflection of me and of you. Honoring is holding a sincere respect as a natural goodness that you reflect. Honoring is a happy, joyful kind of play. Honoring is my greatest joy day after day. Honoring in secret builds nobility. Positive, anonymous surprises foster one's humility. Honoring is my essential reality. Honoring brings me essential clarity. Honoring is a sacred circle of discovering that together we are harmonizing. It reflects the capability of our divinity, joined with our responsibility to create melody and mastery, a new tranquility of generosity. So just remember that if your honoring of others and of your life is really clear and sincere, that the goodness of others and life will surely reflect and honor you too, my dear.
Beautiful. Thank you. Oh, I just feel like we just bathed in that honor, it's like we took a bath in honor, and that just feels so I love it. Thank you so much. That was exquisite, as are you.
Well, thank you. It's authentic.
Absolutely. You can tell everything just is authentic and emanating from your beautiful, joyous, humorous, might we add, heart. But we have to have a little humor. But I would love to know what your most important message that you'd like to share with our audience right now. Is there anything that you'd really like to share?
Well, when it comes to, I want to bring back honoring as a way of life. So I have these honoring awards I send anonymously. I have the Evolving Genius awards ceremony, which brings groups of people together where they can honor themselves and each other, and everybody can appreciate and encourage and support each other with their applause, and everybody walks away with these beautiful awards. I also have a new one that's Evolving Genius Improv, which we'll talk about another time, which is really fun. Being able to honor anonymously is giving love unconditionally, without an agenda, and that's one of the reasons I think, Caitlin, really, that it's so hard for most people to receive a compliment is it's like, oh, what's your agenda? And telling me I'm pretty or sweet or beautiful or smart or whatever. Well, you know what? When people get it anonymously, it has such a profound impact. It really goes straight to the heart. And again, then you have to think about, all the wonderful people I know. Was it Caitlin that sent me this sweet thing? Was it my mother? Was it my sister? Was it my coworker? Was it my best friend? So it really puts people on that path. And one other quick story, it's true. Over the years, there have been, the information's come from other people, 2 teenage gay men who were suicidal, who got one of my honoring awards in the mail, and it totally shifted their reality. Number 1, somebody cared. Number 2, it was positive and uplifting. And number 3, the mystery. All of a sudden, they had to wonder who was so wonderful, and it totally shifted them away from themselves and the terrible situation they were in, and their depression and their addiction and whatever they were going through. It totally turned them around. And that is so beautiful to me. And I know of 2 offhand. And because I've been writing and doing ceremonies for many, many years, weddings and all different kinds of things I've done. I started out doing gay weddings, of course, me, the fringe woman working into the mainstream. But I actually started doing writing ceremony, which I love, and doing different kinds of ceremonies in the early 80s when AIDS first came out. And no one would do funerals for these gay men that were dying. And I was like, this is not okay with me. I will take some kind of training. I will get some sort of a certification, and I will make this happen for people. And then I started doing weddings too. So I have a big following in the gay and trans community because they know that people need a lift. And one other quick thing I wanted to mention, when you said, your sister tagged you, of course, people are intuitive. And of course, how many people are as lovely as you? Not that many. People tag me a lot too, of course, even before it was a business or they didn't even know it was for me. So somebody would say, I got this beautiful Elegant Enchantress Award in the mail, and it was so beautiful and sweet. And I'm wondering if you sent it. And I was like, well, what did it look like? What size and what color? And they'll tell me. And I'm like, well, I got something kind of like that. I got an Illustrious Instigator Award in the mail. Wow, that's really trippy. I wonder, so I don't necessarily outright deny it, but it's like, I got something similar, only different. So I leave it away.
Yeah, I don't want to lie, but I was like, you know what? That's a good way to kind of deflect and be like, oh, I got one too.
You know how to do that, and I've been doing that for years.
Perfect. Thank you for that. Absolutely. I love that idea, and to keep it super anonymous.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit more about your Wake Up Call Sassy Awards and Comedy Show? I think we cited a little bit of that, but
they're super fun. So for large groups of people, where we don't actually have time for people to get awards and give an acceptance speech and all of that, for large audiences, I have a show that's called Ranting of a Psychic Grandmother, which is fun because I do the honoring stuff. Oh, I can see who you are, and you come up here and let me honor you, you sweet thing, you elegant enchantress, come up here. And then I also, and with the Sassy Awards, it's kind of fun. So I would look at you and I would say, oh, girlfriend, I've got a special award for you that you're going to need in your future. I got a dastardly dirty old man award here that you're going to give to somebody because you're just too dang pretty and sweet. And you're going to have to deal with these people probably the rest of your life, girlfriend. So let's just give this one to you right now. I'm going to read it to you. I do it in a non-threatening way, right? I don't tag people directly necessarily. So here's one, Dastardly Dirty Old Man Award. And I'll tell you what, when women send these anonymously to some idiot at the office and they watch him open it and they all try not to laugh, priceless, the stories I get. So many good stories from so little time. Dastardly Dirty Old Man Award. In recognition of your lack of recognition for being a dastardly dirty old man. You make all women blush, you nasty old cuss. Your desires are truly off course. Your awful behavior we just don't endorse. Keep your sexist comments away from us, or we will publicly make a very huge fuss. We won't just smile and take your abuse. So get a polite grip, you silly old goose. So it's to the point, but they're poetic, which keeps them kind of fun, which keeps them kind of lighthearted. The one sometimes I will tag someone with, it's very popular, is the Beneficial Bullshitter Award. This award is granted in honor of your superior bullshitting skills. We hereby acknowledge your outrageously humorous and beneficial effects provided by your exemplary expertise. You display a wealth of intricate tall tales and outdo most long-winded males. Your bullshitting expertise is absolutely beyond measure. This notes you as a true national treasure. Thank you and congratulations.
They're so good, but still so poetic. It's amazing, like how poetic they still are.
Yes, they are. Drama Queen of the Universe is another universal clean comedy one that I do a lot. One that Gossip Monger is very important. The one that I'd like to share that is really an important one, I think, Morbid Martyrdom. A lot of women need that one. But Narcissistic Numbskull is a major seller. So how about we go there?
Yep.
This one goes anonymously out to people frequently. You are Narcissistic Numbskull Award. You are presented with this award as you are fully, completely, and absolutely ignored. Here's an important clue. Everything is not about you. Please join the real world and your self-focused release to find true friendship and important inner peace. Let conversations become a two-way street. Please learn to listen to those whom you meet. Your endless self-focus is nauseating to most. You could be rather interesting if you did not always boast. You have the potential to be a real treat as you realize mutual sharing is really super neat.
Oh, I love that. Oh my goodness. That's such a beautiful poetic way to approach that subject for sure.
So I'll read one more and then I'll just read my list of awards if that's okay.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Morbid Martyrdom Award. A lot of women, they know this about themselves, but there's something about getting this anonymously in the word that really brings it home. Morbid Martyrdom Award for most women. Overdoing and overgiving instead of really living. You allow your family to run your life, bringing you tremendous strife. Let others take care of themselves once and for all, while you wake up to your joy's inner call. Do it now for one and all. We hereby support you to have the nerve to give to yourself the caring you deserve.
Truth. Truth. That one hit home. Yep.
You know, it's a good one. And the wonderful thing about these award ceremonies and these comedy shows is that, you know, I can tailor them.
Yeah.
You know, I've got a religious sermonizer award that I think is just funny as funny can be. Some people don't like it. Some people don't like judgmental jackass either. So even though, you know, I remind them that a jackass is just a donkey. But
come on, guys, it's just a donkey.
That's right. So, you know, I can really tailor them for the group.
Absolutely.
Which is really super fun. So those are just some of the wonderful sassy awards that I have, and they're just a blast. And one day, I swear, my guidance said to me, The truth is more easily absorbed when presented in a sassy poetic award. And it's so true. You know, they're poetic, which gives them a little softer place to land. They're poignant, but yet they're a little bit funny and silly and goofy. So they land pretty well. And a lot of people think they're funny as can be. And it's interesting to see how it hits you. Does it hit you as funny? Does it hit you as, uh-oh, you know, a real wake-up call? You know, passionate pack rat, that's another favorite.
Wow. It's true. But I said it's easier to digest the truth when it's like more like with a lighthearted approach, that humorous approach, even if it's maybe not taken that way, it's coming from this sassy, you know, fun approach, not.
Yeah, poetry does that. Yeah, poetry does that.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you for sharing those. I would love to know maybe what is the most powerful thing you've written over the course of your years?
It's Shame on You about verbal abuse.
Okay. And
translated into so many languages. And like I said, I keep getting emails in different languages and I have to translate them. And they're like, this thing is amazing. May I translate it into this other language?
Beautiful. And would you like to explore that now, or we can do that in the next time?
We'll do that the next time. It's a powerful poem and it's got a lot of wonderful repercussions to it.
Okay. I'm so delighted to hear it and to be moved by it, as well as share it with my audience again.
And the stories about it are true, which is cool too.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, our time is coming to a close. Is there anything else that you would love to share with our audience today, Iris?
One thing, so with every one of my sassy wake-up call awards, I have another poem that I send. And it's called Our Evolving Shadow Mirror. Mm-hmm. And this is kind of from my courageous truth-telling side. And, you know, it kind of keeps the comedy, again, it's poignant and yet it's kind of cutesy enough that it lands, I think. Your opinion will probably be important to me. Anyway, it's called Our Evolving Shadow Mirror, goes out with every sassy award and every honesty letter. The shadow mirror is a part of who we all are. Individually and collectively, with it, we continually spar. Judging the shadow of others is so easy to do until you discover their annoying dysfunction is a part of you too. Unexplored shadow breeds war, poverty, and indifference far and wide. It screams for us to collectively accept reality and turn the tide. Within governments, companies, cultures, and maniacs, it will hide. Insanity continues as power mongers' mean egos' cruelty rides. Our shadows beg to be denied, suppressed, and repressed. So into self-honesty we dive, as darkness must be addressed. For being a boastful, judgmental jerk is certainly an unwelcome personality quirk. The absolute killjoy of creativity is any and all repression. So our gift is to find appropriate creative self-expression. Befriending our shadow can enhance creative fun when astutely delivered as an insightful pun. To laugh at others' crap and then to see your crappy self too can bring us all to compassion, acceptance, and love. Yahoo! Who knew that psychology and social skills 101 could be so enlightening and so very much fun?
Fun. With capital F-U-N. Fun. I love that. You know, a lot, you know, people on the spiritual journey, they're always like, the shadow is just this thing we don't want to look at. And it's like, and, you know, I even used to do that, you know, you repress it, but it's like, you're bringing this lightheartedness in this fun way to like, hey, let's bring some light to this. We all got this. And there's some joy in that. And it's it's beautiful. Like, let's shed light on this. So beautifully and a fun way to embrace the shadow and to recognize it without shaming it. So thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. And I feel like all of my Sassy Wake Up Call awards do that. And what people say to me is, I'm tired of thinking about my kid being a mindless moocher all the time. Well, I got that award and I sent it to him in the mail, and he didn't know who sent it because he mindless mooches off everybody. And it helps people stop worrying. It's like telling the truth so you can let it go. Now it allows people to tell the truth in an honorable way. And if they get it anonymously, they can take it to heart or not. It's up to them.
That's beautiful.
So I just want to close by saying that the Evolving Genius Awards ceremony is really near and dear to my heart. It brings people together. And one of the main points I get to make when I do it is that there are several things that are time-honored traditions that bring people together, that create oneness, that strengthen families and tribes. And they are things like music, singing, dancing, drumming, storytelling, honoring, ceremonies, celebrations, prayer, and play are, in my experience, the most important things. And that's one reason why I love writing ceremony. And that's one of the reasons why I love doing what I do with the awards ceremony, is to just be able to bring that to people's attention and to remind them that, plan an event. And that's what's cool about this, is it isn't just, I mean, it's an award ceremony that anybody can do, that just comes out of the blue. You can have it for an occasion, or it's an occasion unto itself.
I love it. It's like I would want to have a wedding, even be like just honoring every person at the wedding, and maybe having people anonymously pick like for each person. I feel like that would just be so beautiful. So it's given me some ideas on how I would want to do it. So when I get married, that might be a possibility.
Any plans in the near future?
No, I need to have a partner first.
Well, details. That's okay. It'll come. And I understand that you're an exceptional person, and my wish for you is that you will find your equal, because old souls need their equal. Nothing else works.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I want that for you. And I want to thank you so much for taking this time to let me rant on and on about honoring and being sassy and truth telling and my new wonderful award ceremony. So you can find all of my things, my ebooks, my honesty letters, the verbal abuse thing, all these awards in my Etsy shop. And so it's www.etsy.com/shop/Evolving Genius Awards.
Perfect. I an astrology honor Graham's as well, I'm understanding. So I would love for my audience to know that she does that as well. I've received one of those and it's absolutely exquisite. So everyone, do get your hands on one of those. Would you mind sharing some of the titles of your ebooks before we come to a close again?
Sure. Ranting of a Psychic Grandmother. I love that title so much that I had to use it for my comedy show too. I have The Joy of Synchronicity, which are all inspiring true stories for all ages. Some of them talk a lot about my psychic and spiritual experiences. And I have one called Legacy of Wisdom, which is all about a process to inspire sharing your stories, your values, and your insights. It has beautiful questions that people get to answer, and it integrates appreciative inquiry with all of your values, things like love, trust, joy, power, freedom, truth, all of those fabulous words. You get to look at how they inspire you in your life and what gets in the way of your expressing them. And if you had more, how might you express them more fully? And if wisdom had a wise voice, what might it say? I mean, they're great questions, and people do it for as a format for writing their biography. And the cool thing is that you can extend the invitation, like say for me to share it with my grandkids. They have the invitation too. It's not just what grandma's trip is or what grandma's insights or thoughts are. Anyone can share it and anyone can work the process. And a lot of wisdom came for me for looking at all of those questions with all of those values. What else have I got? A children's celebrations and ceremonies workbook, which is all about how to create celebrations and ceremonies to make everlasting happy memories.
Yeah.
Important to me. So yeah, I've got quite a few out there, and
guys, got to get your hands on her beautiful work. So yay. Thank you so much for sharing there. I feel like people have so many options. You know, they have the sassy, they have the ceremony, they have the beautiful humanitarian awards. It's like you really reach everyone and you touch the heart of many with truth. So thank you so much for sharing today. I'm really curious to see what your next steps might be.
well, I came up with an Evolving Genius improv program that's going to be super fun. And I have all these visionary prompts, and, you know, and we'll talk about that. I'd love to do another program about that. And then, so like, you pick a number out of the basket and maybe pick a number
77.
between 1 and 66.
Let's do 55.
Okay, I don't have the list in front of me, but it might say something like, I vote this Evolving Genius most likely to be a channel of blessings and a healing presence. And so then I say, because, and then that's where I do the improv, and I honor you with improv. And I have all those keywords right there. And I can say, oh, I can see how you are in tune with so many things and how you absolutely are a channel for all that is good in your life. I can see, you know, the love and the joy in your face, and I can sense how much you love and appreciate other people. And people have all these key words like compassion and joy and all of those key value words, so that they can learn how and practice how to honor people with improv. And it's super going to be fabulous fun.
Fun. F. And I love that all of your expressions and your creativity emanate reverence, like the reverence emanating from your heart, this appreciation for all that is. So thank you for, you know, being a channel of this appreciation and love and light, and showing the world like this is how we do it. We, you know, honor one another. So thank you for emanating this unconditional love and inspiring others to do the same, and being open and vulnerable to do that and allow them to receive this love, because we all deserve this. We're all worthy of it. So I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. I honor you and your divine, beloved, unique, beautiful self, and just a channel of love and light. And I just want to send so much love and light and blessings. And our audience is so grateful to be here with you today. So thanks for sharing.
Well, and thank you for being who you are. Wow. I mean, talk about beautiful honoring. It's so funny because I joke about how honoring is a sacred circle. And when you honor other people all the time, you have to expect to be honored in return. So I shouldn't be surprised. However, that honoring was exquisite. And it speaks to just how profoundly beautiful you are. And I know that you are an extremely accomplished poet, because I love all of your poetry. And yeah, you're gonna love this new Evolving Genius Improv. And one of the cool things I want to mention really briefly is that with the Evolving Genius Award Ceremony and the Evolving Genius Improv, both of those programs, I am going to do a mentorship program where I help other people go out and do these ceremonies and do these improv games with groups, so that other people can make money doing what I do. And I'm super excited about it. And I can't wait. I already know that I'm going to give you the program to do improv if you want. Honoring improv. We'll talk about it.
Thank you. I can totally see myself doing that. So thank you. Beautiful. Yes. It's an honor to share and extend this love and reverence and appreciation with all. So thank you.
Thank you, Caitlin. I appreciate you so much.
Appreciate you. Lots of love and blessings.
You too. Thank you, darling.